Howdy, howdy, ho! What's up, everyone? It's GleeCon, and I'm back with another episode of Lore of Warcraft. Thank you for clicking on the image that will pipe me into your head. Last episode, we wrapped up... last episode, we did a little reading, a short, a couple days ago. I made a Patreon video yesterday. The last episode we made one was an in-game lore that talked about the Guardians of Tristful, the creation of that organization. Kind of like a summary of a manga that we read on this channel, and also the book The Last Guardian. There are parts that are discussed in all of that, and so it's officially not canon anymore, but it's I didn't track anything that was really totally very different. Today we're going to continue our classic walkthrough completionist playthrough with Felwood. We're going to take our Alliance character through Felwood. We're going to kick it off today, so stay a while and listen as we take Lee Contessa, our rat pally, to the bowels of the beast. I just finished this. I had to burn the midnight oil to get this zone done last night so that it was ready for record today. We're getting really close. What will probably save us from that happening again is my next zone is Ajara, which is a pretty short zone. There's only one quest that comes from the outside that leads into Felwood, and that is this a little slime goes a long way, which is pretty easy. There are a bunch of quests up here to go deal with the Timber Maw. I am not dealing with that today. That is that's one of the reasons why this zone is just a beast. Okay, so here you have a druid trainer, a pet trainer, a hunter trainer, and She Alun. Michelena, that's our flight path person. Nalaset Wildbringer is the pet trainer. Golheim the Hooded, or Golheim the Hooded is the druid trainer, and Kerbrus is our hunter trainer. I feel like I'm in the park at Stormwind. Over here we actually have a vendor. This is the only vendor in Felwood for Alliance, and as you can see, it's tucked way the heck out of anywhere. One of my biggest this zone, and I'll talk about it as we play today, really is not one of my favorites for a few reasons. But here's Maligan. He can sell you ammo if you're a hunter. There's also a monster almond. That's cool. I don't think I bought this when I was up here. It comes from giant eggs and soothing spices, so that's cool. We will get some. Well, actually, no, we will not get giant eggs really in this. And that person is, and this one is Mylene Frostmoon.
How may I help?
She's a weapon vendor, so she'll be able to repair for us, and we can sell some of those pieces of gear that we got from doing Maraudon and turning on all those quests. So that's great. Alright, so we are now going to make the hike across the zone, and that will give us some time to talk about today's... Oh wait, there's something inside here maybe. Well, just a bed in case we want to get intimate with the people. Or just take a nap. Doesn't have to be perverted. Come on, GleeCon. Alright, so Felwood, let's talk about pros and cons of Felwood. We'll start with the pros because I feel like that list is shorter. Pros, I actually like the aesthetic and the vibe. It's not a difficult zone to traverse. I like the idea of a forest that is so ravaged by Burning Legion influence that you can feel the presence. You can feel both the post-conflict, the lingering effects of War of the Ancients, like this place never healed, but also you can feel like how close the Burning Legion is to getting us. Okay, we are very close to level 56, which is cool. I don't think there's any fishing. Maybe we can fish in this Fell River. We'll potentially try that. When we hit 56, we're going to have to port anyway. So it might be easier to... I don't even know where we could fish. So that's one positive. The actual aesthetic and traversability of the zone are pretty good. They're up there. They're probably, if it went just on that alone, this would be a top tier zone for me. Also, the one actual storyline that is true lore centric, which is the Emerald Sanctuary's attempts to interact with Jadenar, is a fun quest line. The rewards are whatever, they're medium, but the quest line is pretty neat, and there's a lot you can do at the same time. It's kind of like a little mini solo dungeon, and that part's pretty fun. So, and I wouldn't say one of the tops. It's got a little tongue-in-cheek humor. We'll see as we go. It requires some strategy to beat the last boss, but nothing crazy like trying to solo level 50-something elites now that we're getting closer to the end game. Because now we're officially starting the final quarter. This is the penultimate chunk. So I would say this chunk right now is not quite end game, but we are now in the set of zones that are designed to take you to level 60. So they're not going to break your back with insane elite challenges that require a group like some of our endgame zones. But you can definitely, easily quest or grind in these areas all the way. We're passing this Flute of Zaverick quest also because we will organically get that quest. We're also going to pass through the slime because, I mean, I guess we can grab the slime. There's no reason to stop, so we'll get that on the way just to break up the long walk. There's no reason not to because you can easily ignore those slimes. Right here is Blood Venom Falls, which is really where the Horde sets up. But there's no questing that occurs right there. Right here is kind of just prior to where the Jadenar entrance is. Jadenar is really more about right there. Yeah, so there's not really anything going to stop us. And that's the end of the list of pros. So there is some moderately fun, challenging, but not overwhelmingly hard quest line that has a decent little bit of lore. And the overall lore, aesthetic, traversability of the zone are all top-notch and worthy of this being kind of end game. Alright, here we go. We're going to switch back over, and this quest is called Tainted. A little slime goes a long way. To refresh our memory, we picked it up in Ironforge last time, and this guy just wants to study oozes based on the oozes that were found in Menethil. So the wetland stuff we did way back when, and he just heard that there was oozes here, and he knows that the Apothecary Society in Undercity is doing the same thing. That's true. So basically, we will open up this kit, a package of empty ooze containers, and this gives us an empty cursed and an empty tainted. It will likely destroy the creature's body. I don't know why that matters. So these are the tainted oozes, so we will put them in a tainted ooze jar. I'll leave it right there. So I'm pretty sure the way that this works, these guys are only level 51, not tough. This is an easier quest as far as everything goes. And at the end we're going to have to turn it into Ironforge, but we'll deal with that when we are a little closer. Now I don't know what he was about to do, but I'm scared. Alright, so see, you could still loot, and then we just have to use this collection on its body, and we need to do that 6 times. There is a little dude here, I don't know who he's tied to. He is not tied to a regular quest, this Nibby the Almighty and Impsy, his little imp. He must either be tied, I believe he is tied to a Warlock quest, to be frank. I think this is the place you go to get your Infernal, if you are a Warlock lover. Just using some of my mana as a little toughed off, because there's Infernals right there, and an Elite Infernals of that. The typical slime loot, useless piles of loot. Alright, now what makes this zone bad? So one, whether you are here, Really, it doesn't matter where you're at. The main quest hub comes out of the Emerald Sanctuary, which is at the extreme south of a long, narrow zone. Best case scenario, you are traveling half of the zone every time to get back up to Jadenar. So, just the fact that you have to kind of go from back and forth is a little annoying. Some of them send you all the way up to connect with the Fellpaw, so then you're traversing the entire zone, and some of them send you into Winter Spring. So, the location of the quest hub is annoying. It's not a deal breaker, there are worse zones for that, but it's just a little icing on the cake. Really, what makes this zone just among my least favorites is I'm a lore master, and what are we doing for lore here? Well, outside of that one quest I gave you and the aesthetic of the zone, each squad has another mini chain. The Alliance has one way up here to rescue or to fight some satyrs, and then use what you get to help some tree spirits. Okay, also decent. That's moderate. I can take it. You give me a quest, and then you give me a second quest that has like a mini or shorter quest line. Okay. Now what I need is some filler one-off quests that are easy. None of those exist. That essentially, those two things, the Horde has a separate one where you travel from Bloodvenom, and it's much more annoying. You travel from Bloodvenom to Winter Spring over and over again, and over again, and over again. And not to mention, you have choices. You're either going to suicide run your way through Timbermaw, which is a pain, or you're going to grind out the Timbermaw. So you have the choice between constant well, at least not constant, because then you can open up the flight path, but between suicide runs or a massive grind. Now, we don't have a choice because the grind is part of what we're going to have to do. The second thing is the good old games just wanted to open up for me. Well, I've been playing Grim Dawn on that. Well, it just changed the color of my things. Weird. The second thing is that the quest hubs offer little to none. At least the Alliance quest hub, at least the side quest for the Horde, the side quest chain comes out of its base. There is literally nothing to bring you to the Alliance base. So that's just poor design. There's no reason. Whereas, if you were giving me these quests to do this Satyr Flute and then rescue this tree from here, that'd be awesome. But no, they do it from down here. So when you're doing the Alliance quest, you are having to travel the entire zone a couple times. At least 2-3 times. So that's just bad design and annoying. But other than this one slime quest, there's no other filler quests. There's nothing drawing you to spend time in this zone. There are only two other reasons. One is the Cleansing the Corruption, which is essentially 2 one-off quests that turn into repeatable quests that have you using your profession. It will detect whatever profession you have. So if you're a skinner, it will automatically give you the skinning one. I guess if you had 2 professions, it would probably give you both. But the ability, by the way, we're walking down just a little bit more to get to these cursed oozes now. So it's a quick little, hey, go and just regularly kill mobs, which you don't have to add into anything. Like, you can just, once you get the quest, which you have to keep this beacon in your inventory for, you can just start, as you do other things, naturally progressing on this. Same thing with the profession quests. We'll be getting our scum-covered bag Silver leaf. Like, just love that. Who doesn't want silver wheat? Silver leaf. Also, the Horde version of this quest is significantly worse. So you're going to spend a lot more time doing the Horde version. Because I think you need 5 instead of 6 of each. Cool. Except that there's a 100% drop rate, as there is on this one. Except each drop rate really has somewhere around a 10 to 25% chance. It depends, you know, it's all dependent on RNG. So people frequently experience as low as a 10% success rate. But you can't know. You get the samples and you have to bring them to Undercity to test them. So you really can make the choice of risking it and traveling across to the other continent. That's considered a curse, so I'm toast. I'm cooked. I gotta keep this curse on me. 25 stam, 25 spirit reduced. Okay. Well, I'm not using a lot of spirit. This actually, as far as, I guess if you're gonna hit me minus 25 on a couple stats, those are not... Oh, great. But they stack, so now I'm losing 50 of each. And I do not have the Light of Balloon. I still have it. Someone in the comments was talking about how I sold the bag of marbles. And they're like, oh man, that hurts my heart, because that's a pretty nice... I mean, you're creating a weakness buff. And it has 5 stacks or whatever, and it lasts until endgame. And I do feel that. However, I still have my Light of Balloon, which is a 10-second bubble. The downside of Light of Balloon is it counts as consuming a potion. So you really got to be like, alright, a potion's not going to cut it. A health potion won't cut this situation. What instead would be better? 10 seconds of life? Oh, now I have a third one. Super annoying. Well, that's rough, because now I'm stacking 75 stats off. So when I fight one more, maybe one of them wear off by then. Alright, so second, that quest line, the corruption thing, is lame. You turn it in to get some salves, and then you go out and you get some... You look around for the spawn plants. There's 4 types of plants. One just gives you a buff. Okay. One gives you some food, just like a decent, kind of like a... I will give you a certain percentage of health or whatever. Like a pretty solid food. One... I think it might, like... Okay, we have all of our slimes, by the way, we can continue our journey. The food, yeah, it doesn't do anything. Then another one gives you, it's more like a might fish or whatever type of thing. It gives you a plus 10 stam food instant, like sit down. It doesn't take time to get the well-fed buff. So it's like one of those. Basically, it's a same thing you can fish up everywhere. And then one of them is pretty useful. It gives you these tubers that are effectively act as a pretty strong potion that can be used on off of cooldown. Like they have their own separate cooldown. They don't share cooldown with your potion, but they do share a cooldown with other like non-potion consumables. So it's not good enough for anyone farming them to want to raid it. It's just something to have in your bag of tricks. So it's kind of like some things that are like, oh, okay, but nothing worth doing it. And it's a pain because you have to go out of your way to collect these shards, keeping items in your inventory, then go back, then turn them into her, then to get the salves, then go find these plants in the wild. The worst thing also is to scratch the itch I'm going to tell you right now, like, this flight path is so bad. When I did this with my mage, I actually had my Hearthstone set to Astronar so that I could just travel up to this base from there. Like, I would quest, then just Hearth back to Astronar and come back. I'm not going to do that with this character because my mage can set his Hearth wherever he wants. But, alright, so, that is another part of it. So, one of the fillers is something very... Like, cleansing Felwood could have been really cool. Could have been a cool quest line. Like, this is the kind of thing that retail does better. Alright, so here's Tanel Leaf Runner. This is the, what's it called? The Emerald Sanctuary. This is the fringe between Ashenvale, and this is where we will get most of our quests. So you will interact with both Tauren Druids and Night Elf Druids. Here is Greta Mosshoof, who starts our quest chain with the lore Forces of Jadar.
I welcome you, adventurer, and the Emerald Circle welcomes you. Hopefully together we can help rejuvenate and protect this once mighty forest. Many forces seek to destroy it from without and within. Do not be persuaded by the power here. It will only corrupt you like it has this entire land.
I love that that typo is rejuvenate. I love that the robot reads it, and because you have to talk with her a lot, this one hit me so many times. There's a second little typo. We found one on the last episode in the book, I believe. So they exist in Classic.
If I am to trust you in this matter, you will first have to prove yourself. I must know that you are an enemy of the Shadow Council, the ones responsible for many evils here and abroad. Travel deeper into Felwood. To the west, you will see a path leading to Jadenar. It is there that the Council plots with the Burning Legion. Enter the depths of one of the corrupted barrow dens they inhabit and slay their kind. Return to me after you've done this. Then I will know you truly seek to help us.
Alright, so of course, in this corrupt demon land, there's going to be an enclave, really one of the highest up ones. They call themselves the Council of the Burning Legion. This is basically the Burning Blade or whatever. Alright, so we have this quest, Forces of Jadar, to get us kicked up and started. So go to the spreadsheet. Today we're going to start a new set. I already opened it because we started Felwood. We already did a little Slime Goes a Long Way. And now as we kick our way over, this is it. We've caught up to where I am. I'm going to start. I might not even get a chance to start today because I have some housekeeping to do in real life and on this game. But I'll be starting Ajara maybe tomorrow. Maybe it might be a couple days before I even start Ajara. So, forgot to click off that we completed Seed of Life. But Forces of Jadar, almost all, as you can see, almost all the quests are neutral. There's just a couple little quest lines for each. The Alliance is a little bit longer, I guess. Alright, so picked up Forces of Jadar, where we're going to start going against the Burning Blade. This is Della, the pet of Jesser Moonbow.
Hello, adventurer. I am Jesser Moonbow. I've come from Darnassus seeking two friends who came looking for signs of the Shadow Council in Felwood. It seems those vile creatures who claim responsibility for much of the Orcish race's suffering seeks to regain some of its power. My two friends went looking in Jadenar to prove one way or the other what was happening. I expected them to be here when I arrived, but now they are days late.
Okay, so those, we will encounter them when we do this. They are involved in... This is the point of contact for the quest line, the second quest line that's tied into the Jadar quest line. Alright, this is Kellic Skykeeper. He just exists right there. I don't know. Inside this house, we have nothing going on, but we do have Eridan Bluewind with the corruption of the Jade Fire.
The Emerald Circle strives to heal the wounded land of Felwood. Although the land is named for the very thing that has corrupted it, we hope that one day we will be able to eradicate the corruption from this land.
Yeah, it'd be like, do I want to call it the Felwood when, like, we hate the Fel?
Not many seek adventure here. Felwood's corruption is widespread and indiscriminate. As part of the Emerald Circle, I seek to heal this land, but there are some that wish it to fester. The ones I speak of are the Jadifier satyrs that dwell to the northwest of here, at the ruins of Constellus. Led by a particularly cruel satyr named Savathras, they continue to spread the disease to any creatures they encounter. We must defend this land that was once ours, defeat Savathras, and destroy his minions.
Okay, so this is the one sending us... Oh, actually, they want us to kind of go here, and then I think she'll give us a second one up there, so we have to do the kind of weaker version first. What's this one called? The Corruption of the Jadava. Sometimes it's just funny. This is the start of the Alliance questline. The Alliance questline is actually cooler. It's focused on fighting the satyr in the region. Actually goes with the quest, and it lets you stay here. The Horde one is terrible because it wants you to continually fight Winter Spring Owlkin, Wildkin, which are like not only in Winter Spring, far, like deep in Winter Spring, up here and down here. So that just sucks butt. Alright. Well, inside here we have a couple more people. We have Ivy Leaf Runner, who gives us a quest. The Horde don't get one of these, specifically telling us to go to Winter Spring. That's it. The Alliance just get a quest that's like, hey, go there and get the flight path. That's it. The Horde get all those quests, so both send you there. This one is how I would prefer to do it.
In Winter Spring, to the north of here, there are many ancient elven ruins. It's a harsh land, but it holds many secrets and places to explore. With all my work to do here in Felwood, I have not had the opportunity to travel to Winter Spring, but there's no reason why you shouldn't. While you're there, look for Wind Nightchaser. He spends most of his time in Starfall Village, and he knows a lot about the area.
And that will be a breadcrumb for us. It's not going to, like, we're not going to do anything with it, and we're not going to do it right now. We're going to wait until we organically have to go somewhere close to Winter Spring, which is not now. All right, and Taron Redfeather verifying the corruption.
To the north, along the east of the road in what's called Shatterscar Vale, is an area where infernals were called down during the last Great War. The craters still scar the land, as do the infernals themselves. I am curious about two things. First, are there still entropic elementals roaming the area? And second, are the craters still filled with the corrupt, fetid water that gathered there years ago? Will you help me and check, adventurer? Be careful, though. The Infernals destroy anything in their path.
You don't have to actually fight the Infernals, which is good, because that would be kind of scary. He is an example of that. See, this is an example of why I don't... why Felwood kind of just stings a little bit, because a quest to explore this area where Infernals have been raining down still and everything is still so corrupt, yes, please. Tell me more and have that lead to something cool. But instead, it's just a one-shot that makes you travel the entire zone to go do it. To go kill 4 mobs. So, annoying. Alright, now we're going to go across the road here, and we're going to get a couple more things. One, we're going to get the one last quest here, Cleansing Felwood. So, just in case that questline didn't sound lame enough, where we were going to cleanse Felwood through tedious, just no reward, very low reward, not lore heavy, not thought engaging cleaning quests in Morlos Saran here. Also, we're going to put it even further down at the very extreme of the zone. This is Arathandra's Silver Sky.
These once beautiful woods suffer under a terrible curse. Corrupting forces twist the life here into shadows of their former selves. If you are not an agent of this corruption, then perhaps you can aid me in reclaiming Felwood.
Okay.
Plants give life to Felwood, yet even they suffer the taint of corruption. I know ways to cleanse them, but I cannot give out such knowledge to those I don't know or trust. Prove to me that you will truly aid the cause of the Cenarian Circle. To the north lie the Iron Tree Caverns. The Warpwood elementals present there are now beyond hope of cleansing. I ask you to bring me their sap. Blood Amber it is called, so I may study it in the hopes of saving other forms of life here.
Okay, so, This is cleansing Felwood. I forgot about this part. Jeez. There we go. The problem with this is we want to start it as soon as possible because we want to passively be collecting. But look, it's literally on the other freaking side of the zone. Ugh. So before we even come to do this Timber Mall ally, we have to go start this quest, which means we have to run across Felwood and back. Without even doing anything. Like, we're not even going to stop and do any of this questing because we need to, top priority, get this zone going. Like, we have to start the cleansing process going because as you can see, we have not encountered one piece of ore, and one of the things we're going to need to do is turn in a pretty solid amount of ore. So I forgot about this just to kick this quest off, that we have to go all the way there and back. Like, that is so far away, it's tempting to fly to Ashenvale and walk back, but we're not going to do that. I don't think it's... If I had the hearth to Astronar, I would. That'd be worth considering. Doing that quest, hearthing to Ashenvale and walking back up. It might be shorter. It's about a draw because you have to walk all the way down there. That is a little shorter to walk that path. I mean, I did it both ways when I just did all my dry run. I had to burn the midnight oil to get this last one done because yesterday I had a decent amount of quests. Actually, did I update the spreadsheet with that? No, I forgot to. I did finish the zone yesterday. The only good thing is, and I know this because of how much I've had to do it, this, it's such a long straight zone that you can do what I just did, which is tab away and do other things while you're running it. Alright, so recapping so far. Nice aesthetic, nice traversability, cool main finale questline, moderate mid questline for the Alliance, except that you do have to, the traveling to it is lame, and terrible mid questline for the Horde. The lore is, well, I wouldn't even say it's dumb because it does tie into something else cool happening in Winter Spring, but then it technically starts becoming Winter Spring quests after that. So, it's kind of like a hybrid. Alright, then you get the thing that caps off. So, right off the bat, there's not a lot going on, and other than the Jadefire questline, the others, which are okay, are marred by how tedious the traveling aspect is. And then you get the corruption, which is like, to me, it's just peak what I don't like about World of Warcraft. I hate, like, just running daily quests. That's what turns me off about retail. It's inevitably you're going to get to a point where you're expected to just keep up with the grind and run daily quests. I freaking hate it. I feel like when I start doing that, and I have, because that's the only way to stay at the top of the power curve, if you're running mythics and stuff. So if that's your life, but I hate it. I feel like when I get into that grind, and I'm constantly trying to reach the max reward system before, you stinker, before the next patch comes out, I feel like I work for Blizzard at that point in time. It's super annoying, and that's what makes me stick with Classic so much. But things like this, honestly, this wasn't even designed to make it feel that way. This was just designed to be like, here's a way you can cleanse Felwood that has no end and is a way of getting some okay buffs. You know, some okay, if that's how you want to spend your time, go ahead, you can get some buffs here. Really, buffs that will just help you get through the zone and whatever the next zones are going to be, because, like I said, you'll find better buffs early, quickly. But the worst part is I mean, I have a love-hate relationship with the Felpaw Village, the Timbermaw Hold. Okay, so all of the Timbermaw Hold quests, you could argue whether they should be considered Moonglade. I would say no, because that's not a real zone. Or Winter Spring. I would say no, because most of the quests... Here's one of the corrupted things, the corrupted plants. We just don't have any... We don't have the ability to cleanse them yet. So I feel like they most need to be situated here in Felwood. And in my original OG classic days, I did the grind to Exalted with Timbermaw, mostly here in Felwood. So in my mind, in my heart, Timbermaw is defined by its relationship to Felwood. Alright, here we go. We gotta kill these Moss Flayers now. Warpwood Moss Flayers, you need 15 blood shards. Positive note, it's a 100% drop rate. But this is a mandatory quest we have to do so that we can actually start the cleansing process. Alright, so the grind for Timbermaw is ridiculous. There is, it's extremely tedious. So I griped when we would do the Centaur when we swapped by choice, when we swapped factions over. That's nothing. Those things are worth, I think, 20 or 25, I think 20 rep per kill. They're situated very closely together, and yet each one is an individual. Like, you can group them, but really they're not designed to be grouped in that way. So, oh, there goes my dog. There's probably something ridiculous like a turtle or a rabbit in my yard, and she's got to bark her brains off. Alright, but, and to get Exalted, I think the grind might even be crazier. I think after a certain point, maybe the kills don't give you rep anymore, because the Furbolgs, first of all, they're grouped up. You can actually die if you're not careful. They're higher level. They're only 5 rep. You do get these turn-ins, so it really averages, doing the math, out to around 7. She'll stop in a few seconds, or I wish if somebody gets her and kind of picks her up, and she's a little lap dog, so a little chihuahua. Someone picks her up, she'll stop. But my son is probably sleeping, and it's my wife who's out there. She's probably getting close to sleeping, because she just got off work. So she's probably not feeling like getting up to go gather the dog. Oh, he's still alive. So you can also start working your way into this cave. I feel like we'll go a little bit of the way into it. Where are we at? We're at 5 only. So we're gonna need... I'm also getting close to being out of mana. I should use some of these. Those are sharp stones. 8. I should use some of my... I have a bunch of whatever other stone they are. Oh, am I not wearing this? Dang it. I need to put that on when I get out of this fight. I need to not do that because I need to conserve. We'll buff up and everything that we need to do. Come on. Alright, that's Spirit, which is good if I'm gonna go in healing mode. That's stand. Oh, let's eat that last sausage. Just sitting in there. And let's put this trinket on. I forgot to change it. I think I gotta take that trinket off. I'm gonna forget every time. The 3% faster, I can't rock that. Oh yeah, I was also thinking about the stones. Those are the dense sharpening stones. I thought I had other sharpening stones. I had some solid sharpening stones. Did I use them all? Maybe I sold them. It was like, I'm just going to use dense now. Well, then if that's the case, then I'm not. I was going to use solid if I had some. But I see solid grinding stones. Fishing bobbers, blacksmith thingy. Dense grinding stone. That might be... Oh. It is not. It's a text from family. Alright, yeah, I must have ditched him. Okay, that's right. Give me time while I did that. It's my oldest daughter's birthday is coming up in a week and a half. So not this weekend, but next weekend. They're gonna have a birthday party at her house where she has a pool. So they'll do. It's okay. They got a lot of dogs, and when we bring our dogs over, it's a dog party. So there will be a ton of dogs running around. But they do have food. I'm not too sure. It will be fine. All right. So so the grind is insane. I don't know what I'm sitting here doing. I don't even have. I'm just. My brain is all over the place. Yeah, so the grind for the timber maw is just ridiculous. Which way should I go? Ooh, no, that's mithril. I mean, we're still gonna collect mithril. Why not? I don't know if there is things that I can get. I think right now it's thorium. Really what we need is thorium. And the grind for thorium is real, and gold is more valuable than both countries' money. Alright, so they're talking about... We're going to level up soon, which is going to be cool too. I'm on the fence about just going and doing that travel, getting the iron... I let it expire. I keep letting it expire before I judgment it up. There's a morning glory dew, that's nice. That will be... Because that's some... 3,000 now. That's good. So we need to start collecting those, which means I can start getting my moonberry juice out. But what we'll do once we finish this quest, what I might actually do is hearth it once I hit 56. Because we need 800 XP. We will 100% level up while doing this. And before I even turn it in, we're gonna go back to Ironforge. We'll do some traveling. That might be... What's our time on our episodes right now? Like 45 minutes. Alright, we'll wait a little bit. Okay. Because... I mean, we're gonna have to go back either way. Annoying. But we want to be able to hearth back to Stormwind to level up our skills and everything, and then we're going to have to fly over to Menethil and do that journey together. So that we can eventually go from Menethil over to Theramore, and then fly from Theramore back here. So, yeah, it's just not enough juice in the squeeze. I think we're going to level up, yeah. That was our 10th one. Alright, we are now 56. Woohoo! Where am I at? I need 2 more holy talents. Right? Because we already have everything we want from the Ret area. This is kind of where, like, Eye for an Eye we don't really want, because if spells crit me, it hits them back. Well, that's more PvP focused. Let's fight while I look at this skills. I'll see if I can find a thorium thing deep in there. We can always bubble on the way out. Alright, increasing my Ret aura is okay, but I mostly run Sanctity aura, but it's not the worst, because when I'm in parties, I frequently run Ret instead. And deflection is not going to be affecting me, because ultimately you're trying to think, top priority has to be, how do I work as a party member? And that will not help me because I'm not supposed to have the threat, although as you could see, when I essentially was acting on it as a tank when we ran in the dungeon the other day, it's okay. And then Vindication is a chance to reduce strength and agility by 5% for 10 seconds. That's a minimal debuff. Maybe it would be okay if it was a PvP buff, but it's also not even going to be affecting everyone equally. I could pump into, for these last, we're in the last 5 points here, I could pump into Devotion Aura if I wanted to give myself more effect there, or if we have 2 more points, we'll unlock this next tier, which would then allow me to do 2 points of improved Blessing of Wisdom, which will help people that I go with. That will help me be a good party member. I think we can just leave. I don't want to go down there just for the mithril. We're going to leave the dungeon and or the little cave. And by now there should be some respawn because we only need 3. So instead, you don't need the chance to resist Fear and Disorient because Alliance can run with the dwarfs, and their Fear Ward makes that skill unnecessary. So no need to run Unyielding Faith. We do not use Improved Seal of Righteousness because I work with Seal of Command, so we do not need that one at all. That means, do I want to have the amount healed by my light, or I have a chance to not lose time when casting? That's going to help me specifically on soloing. So, oops, as soon as I said it, I did it. Which that's, you know, that's worth thinking about. That's probably what is suggested, but the actual overall amount healed is pretty nice too. Especially with your Flash of Light. When you're healing, if you're going to heal as using Flash of Light spams, that's pretty nice, and as a healer, you don't really have to worry about the heals. So I could focus on giving myself 2 points to there, then back to Blessing. Great. Some dude came out and killed the ones I just killed. So now I've got to go back in and kill one more. My last one. I mean, this one's going to be nice for soloing and it's going to help me solo more stuff. Ultimately, I'm only going to be able to dump... Well, I will be able to dump 3 points into something, so I can max out Healing Light. I like that. Which will eventually give me a 12% increase to my healing. Or I can get myself 3 points, so that would be 30, 40, 42% chance of resisting Interrupt. Which is, that's okay too. Alright, I'm gonna go with the Healing Light. Because I feel like that will help me. I'm to eventually get a 42% chance of not being interrupted. I do not heal that much when I'm in combat. I feel like I'd rather just time the interrupts out a little better. and it will help me more in the if I have to be put in a healing position in a dungeon. All right, so anyway, to finish complaining about this, basically you have 3 furbolgs that you have to do a quest to kill furbolgs for. This guy, which makes you kill these furbolgs. This one, which makes you kill these. And then one right on the other side of the tunnel that makes you kill those. You have to get to neutral if you don't want them freaking attacking you every time you go through that tunnel. But you don't get any rewards unless you get friendly or above. The ultimate rewards for Exalted is this trinket, which lets you summon a furbolg to come help you like once an hour or something like that. Which is, you also, back in the days of achievements, you get the They Love Me in This Tunnel achievement, which is pretty cool. And I do think eventually we will do some achievement runs with some of our characters. We will try and do like full achievement run at some point. Alright, so we're now going to go all the way back down to turn in Cleansing Felwood so that all the future quests we do, the reason I'm doing this is that we can get the beacon, so then everything else we do we can get the corruption salves for, and including when we do mining that we can get corruption from the mining, we can get these corruption shards. Or whatever it's called when you do the mining one. So that we can start collecting ourselves. And then in that point, we don't have to really go looking. Anytime we see the flowers, we can have the salves. Ultimately, I believe we're going to need 15 total salves, and you usually get 2 per turn-in. So we're going to have to turn in 8 of the repeatable quests. That's Shadow Scar Vale, but like I said, we're going to do that one after, because we will have to come back up here. And I don't know, the corruption and the mining, there might be some of that in there, so I really want to make this our top priority. I see this as sort of kind of zone setup. But yeah, so this is why and what makes it even worse, a big part of this, you have to at least complete a few of the killing of the Winterfell. If you want to include Salfa's quest in this, which we are, we're going to just knock this all out in one go. The problem with that is the Winterfell Furbolgs are freaking non-stop farmed. Non-stop. All of them. Because they build your rep up with Timbermaw. So there are some recipes, I think, honored or revered that people want, enchanting recipes and stuff like that. 2, they drop Winterfell Firewater, which is like a melee buff thing, like a short term. It's a pretty good melee buff, but it only lasts like 10 minutes or something, so you want to have a stack of them going on, particularly if you're melee, you want those, but so half of the dungeon. Half of the raid group, and because they only last like 10 minutes, you just need stacks and stacks of them. So those 2 reasons, they're constantly being, not to mention there are a couple quests in the area. Now there is also some other quests that are tied to this zone that we're going to be stuck with. But anyway, so you have 1 good quest line, 1 medium quest line, medium to annoying. Then you have very few other filler quests, so the zone really feels empty. You have an activity to cleanse the zone, which is annoying and boring and not worth the rewards. And then you have a nearly mandatory massive grind. The longest grind that we've done thus far for sure, possibly the longest one that we'll do in the game, unless you count us grinding for the Bloodsail Buccaneers rep. If we decide to do that, it's going to be a lot. I know Felwood suffers, Glee Contessa. I suffer along with it. I must remain steadfast in my conviction. Were the knowledge I possess to fall into the wrong hands, it would spell disaster for all of Felwood. Bring to me the blood amber drawn from the slain Warpwood elementals, and I will trust you enough to help me enact a means to fight the corruption. She should just let us fight it from the jump.
This blood amber will be used to find a means of defeating the corruption present in Felwood. You've proven to me that you're willing to do whatever it takes for the Cenarian Circle. I trust you now, friend. It might seem odd that killing the elementals proved yourself to me. But the end of saving countless sentient beings must justify the means we take. You and I can now focus on the preservation of life through the salves I can make. Adventurer, the time has come to cleanse Felwood.
I don't know if it's wrong, but I read that as through the slaves that I'll make. Alright, now we can open our 2. Everyone gets salvia hunting, and there's also salvia mining. So we're going to look at, really quickly, let's look at the 2 we can't do. So there's salvia enchanting. So salvia disenchanting, I mean. Alright, so there's the regular one, and there is the repeatable. That's the repeatable. That's the regular. Okay, so if you have disenchant, or if you have enchanting as a skill, you talk to her and she says, this is what I did on my mage. This is actually the easiest one. The power of a disenchanted magical item is felt by the essence it creates. I've devised a way to turn raw essence used by enchanters into a suitable reagent for creating Cenarian plant salve. You don't need a Cenarian beacon for this. Any suitably disenchanted item that yields lesser nether essences will work. I just need a single lesser nether essence. In exchange, I'll give you the Cenarian plant salves. The essence is extremely important. A little definitely goes a long way. So if you just give her one, that's the only downside. Those are very useful for pretty much all late to near end enchantments. So you are sacrificing a valuable item. But unlike all of the others, you don't have to farm it here. You can just have them in your inventory, which I already had a few. You just give her one, and she said, here are some Cenarian plant salves. I only need one lesser nether essence for this. Essence is by far the most potent item I can make use of to turn swords into plowshares, as it were. If you need more salve, then find me here, and that unlocks the repeatable version where she says the same thing. And yeah, it says you get 2. I feel like I thought maybe you would get 4. It just says, yeah, I would not do it though. It says enchant, it's not available to you. No, you just have to, have done the other quest first. I would never willingly give these up, other than the fact that as a completionist, I needed to do these 2 quests, so I did give up 2. But it's way easier to do the hunting. For all of these, it's easier to do hunting for the most part. The other one that we did was salve via gathering. So let's look up that one. Because that's if you're an herbalist, this is what you can get. I spelled salve via gathering. So this is what she says if you're an herbalist. A Cenarian beacon allows a seasoned herbalist to spot insidious fell creep, a malfeasant product of Felwood's corruption. My work here has taught me the knowledge of purifying fell creep into a cleansing reagent used in what we now refer to as Cenarian plant salve. When you gather herbs in Felwood, you should encounter the fell creep so long as you have the beacon. In exchange for what you bring to me, I'll give you pre-made Cenarian plant salve. So when you collect herbs in the region, and there are a moderate amount, there's a chance. I would say it's about a 1/3 chance. People say 50% or whatever. In my experience, it's less. I've gone sometimes 5-10 herbs without getting one. When you get one, you get 1 to 3 fel creep. So on average, you're going to need 2 successes to get this. All told, it's a pain in the butt. What I would do if this was really me is what we're going to do with mining. If you happen to see a node, don't go seeking it. Just if you happen to see one, grab one, and maybe you'll get lucky. We have to do it for our other stuff. And then she says, excellent work, person. Every bit of this, once we purify it, will help us take back Felwood. Here, take some doses of Cenarian plant salve and head into the forest. The reclaiming of the land from the corruption waits for no thing. And then when you talk to her for the repeatable version, it looks like she just says the same thing. Okay, so those are the 2 we don't have on this playthrough. The ones that we do have are her for mining, and everyone gets hunting. So it says, what are the plants in Felwood that might be corrupted?
I have observed 4 different kinds of plants that have been affected by the corruption: the songflower, the wind blossom, the whipper-root, and the night dragon plant. The songflower and wind blossom are common plants in Felwood, while the whipper-root and night dragon are seen less frequently. All are a vital part
and
of
it's
Felwood's
really
ecosystem.
luckily nobody really farms these, so you can pretty much get them. If you see them, if you go to one of the spawn spots, they're pretty much going to be there. Nobody gives a crap, unless they've just kind of been doing it as they walk around. All right, so if we say I need a Cenarian beacon, which we don't have one right now, so you have to ask her for one. Here is a beacon for you, Gleekantessa. You must keep it in your possession if you're to find the corrupted items we need. We will be keeping it in our possession. It says this device helps identify corrupted elements of nature. We'll keep it in our possession until we have cleansed one of each of the 4. Alright, Salvia hunting. Possessing a Cenarian beacon allows one to see a corrupted soul shard. Well, we can't actually do it, so we're not going to read those yet. But we can also do salvia mining. We need tainted vitriol. So we need 4 of them. It's very similar, but it means that we need to find mining nodes, which I haven't even seen one as we run around. So, but we have the beacon, so now we can start collecting these things. Where are we at right here? All right, so before we actually start our questing and everything today, I think it's time for us to go get our skills. So we're gonna go first. We're gonna do a little traveling, and this will wrap it up. So the episode will be a little shorter, but I want to take advantage of us being level 56, and getting some of our work done. So when we're here, we need to go talk to the paladin trainers. We also need to go to Ironforge. I mean, I don't really care about the fishing, so, and I'm trying to think, I guess if we go to Dust Wallow, we could do some fishing. Other than that, because we are now needing our fishing to be up to 280. So we could fish in Stormwind here. It'll give us that 100% drop rate and give us a chance at like the 1 ring or whatever. There might be some things. That's just the Sunken Temple quest that we still need, Chillwind Point. But let's find a paladin trainer. Oh, we're still not maxed out on first aid either. That's us needing rune cloth for that. Alright, let's just talk to our trainer girl.
Light, may the light protect you this day.
Okay, so there are no new holy things for us. The only new protection is we rank up our frost resistance aura. So that goes, instead of 45, it brings us to 60. Okay, and then the only thing, this is the lamest level up ever. We're going to also update our ret aura from 16 damage to 20 damage per strike. So what a lame level up that was. Just 2 auras that I will use in niche circumstances. If I have a heavy melee party, I will sometimes use ret aura. Or I guess if I was fighting some major frost damage mobs, I would use frost. That's lame. Alright, so now we're gonna go take the tram. I'm not gonna fish here. Where can we fish? So that's what we're gonna basically start our travelings, and we're gonna turn in this, and then that will set us up to fly back at least to Astronar, and we'll make that walk back from Astronar at the start of the next episode. So it'll get a little bit of the flying off for us, but I thought something cool would happen if we did this level up. We still have 2 more level ups to go. People are really whining about each other about this Dire Maul tribute. People, this person keeps saying DMT open eyes passive PST invite, and then this guy says make sure to tip at least 10 gold or risk being put on ignore. And then they're spamming it one after the other. Then someone says Gua does DMT. I know a few people run them occasionally, but never requiring gold, let alone 10. Rather just run it myself. It'd save me from spending gold I don't have. Then somebody says Guas are free. And then somebody else says, wah wah, I had to pay for a service someone did for me. Wah wah, I want it for free. Wah, crying. Free port. I mean, I'm not a DFCC fanboy, and he banned me for no reason, but seriously, is 10 gold really that big of a deal? Yeah, tips are nice, but I would never ask for anything. I'll open a DFT if I can get a healer to help me clear it. Having issues at home. My only issue at home is not having any pot. Oh. And offering free DMT, but when someone tries to trade, he accept it. Twist? I don't understand what that means. Honestly, for me, it's less about gold and more about the entitled expectations. Just call it a charge or a fee, not a tip. Make it the expectation, not bullying someone to pay or get ignored. It's the worst thing that happens all day is chattering about the same stuff ad nauseum. Yeah. That's true. Alright, let's go. The reason why people don't do that is if you
amazing, aren't
ask
they?
for a tip,
all these artifacts and remains.
then you can
I'm
get
not
way
sure
more
what
than 10.
I'm more impressed by their size or the stories that go along with them. There's so much to study and.
But if you set it, if you say like I'm going to charge 10 gold, then that's what you're going to get every time.
You have a great day now.
Some of the experiments I've done are fascinating. I think with a little more work I'll be able to figure out the nature of these creatures and how they play into how life developed on Azeroth. If they even have anything to do with it to begin with. One of my biggest theories that isn't well liked is the idea that oozes and slimes are tied to the creation of this planet. Almost like they're a secretion of it. It's sick. But I can't prove or disprove it until I get more samples.
Amazing results, adventurer! You got close enough to take a sample of the corrupted things and managed to look no worse for wear. Thank you. Oh, these samples will be perfect. I can't wait to start testing on them. If I'm right, I could be one of the Explorers League's greatest scientists. That'll prove to all the dwarves that it wasn't a mistake to allow us gnomes into Ironforge after the Gnome Regan incident.
Alright, so now he opens up another quest.
Incredible, amazing. I don't even know what this means.
So he does. There's a second. A little slime goes a long way. Actually, I should probably mark that was just number. Oh, I did. Okay. So we're not going to take that up though, because that I believe has us going into Ungoro Crater, which is a couple zones away. After this, we will have Ajara, and then we will run Ungoro Crater, which Ungoro Crater is really going to be that's the real granddaddy of this penultimate. I'm leveling. I'm in my 50s zone. Let's repair while we're right here, because it's not easy to do.
Can't say enough about your work. Truly amazing things that you can do with a hammer and an anvil. Now, don't be telling anyone that I suggested you go find a goblin to teach you, but that's exactly what I'm going to do. Brick Keencraft is his name, and last I heard, he was operating a shop down in Booty Bay. Greetings, adventurer. I am Myolos Under Fury, keeper of the Great Forge.
Yeah, people are just whining and complaining in chat. Alright, we're gonna go to Menethil. When we land in Menethil,
I think not.
I'm just trying to find the best place to fish. When we land in Menethil, okay, here we go. When we fly from there to Ashenvale, we'll fly kind of up this path. There's not going to be a better spot, so I guess when we get to Menethil, we'll do our fishing. And then that will be the end of our episode today. So it'll be it'll wind up being a normal length episode. Just kind of slow a little bit, but I don't think we have any more traveling we're going to have to do. So, now we will start. Everything we kill will have a chance of giving us the hunting salves, which is every 6 corrupt... Every time you kill something now, we'll have a chance of it dropping a shard. Every 6 shards you turn in will give you 2 salves. And like I said, we need 15 total salves. So it'll just slowly happen as we grind. As well, we automatically need to do 2 sets. So really we need 16 because you get them in pairs. So we need 8 turn-ins. 2 of the turn-ins are going to come from the mining, because we're going to have to grind that mining out at some point. Hopefully it doesn't wait all the way till the end to do it. We want to get ourselves as fast as possible so that we can also turn in the plants as we see them. What we will do when we start working on that, so to kick off tomorrow's episode, we'll go in here and we'll do Timbermaw Ally, which is going to be the beginning of the Timbermaw grind. So this will allow us to kill a little patch of guys. We'll then collect some feathers from these guys to get his 1 repeatable, but we will not spend time there. He'll also give us a breadcrumb that will send us up here, which we will not work on right now. The Timbermaw grind is going to be one of the last things that we do. Then we'll go ahead and we will work on the corruption of Jadefire, where we actually have to go up and do this set. You can get the Fellsworn here, but there's plenty of them around here as well. So we'll just go up there for that. Okay. Then let me go ahead and whip my fishing pole out as we wait for the boat. Actually, it looks like it's here. But we need to get... We only have 5 sessions of fishing to go, and this is one of the 5. So you are in luck. We're getting close to never having to fish outside of quest needs again. It's gonna be great. It's gonna be great, guys. I'm actually not gonna fish on this boat. Yeah, so then that will... So then we have that. Once we... Kind of on the fence about what we need to do. We also, in this run, can at least get the forces of Jadenar, where we fight the external Jadenar guys. Not too tough. Then we can go back and turn these in. By then, we should have a couple of the salves ready to get turned in for completion. Just by getting those. Hopefully, we found some mining shards. If not, then if we have time after all of that, we'll probably at least do one loop around looking for ore and get some mining done as well. And because they're going to send us both up here and back into Jadefire again, Jadenar again, to turn these braziers out or whatever. We'll have a few times going back and forth into Jadenar. So the second time we go back up there, we'll come in here, and then we might push it a little further to go check out the entropic beasts and enter that. And maybe pushing it all the way up by then to get that second Satyr quest and this Flute of Zaverick. We need that as well. And then we'll come back down. And then the third time it will most likely be able to finish out Jadenar, and then we'll also have a quest to, once we turn that flute in, we'll have a quest to help with these Iron Tree people. So then we'll go take care of that also, and then go run down one final time. So I think we're looking at those two things. That's 2-ish episodes between that set of tasks. So that's that would be, if it wasn't for the Timber Mall aspect, that would be somewhere in the neighborhood of 3 episodes. We will then hit up. We'll make it to the north here, where we'll get Deadwood of the North. When we do Deadwood of the North, we will. Okay, now it's time to fish. We'll get a few quests once we get to this. So once we get to this dude in Felwood, he'll give us a quest to kill some dudes right there. One of them will drop a Red Deadwood Ritual Totem. You cannot turn that in until you finish the grind and you're at neutral. It's a little annoying. You can also get a Winterfell Ritual Totem if you happen to find those dudes. There is like one Winterfell runner that comes through. So if you kill him, he has a chance of dropping it. We'll kill him just in case. That one doesn't really matter. Because we're going to have to kill a sizable amount of Winterfell anyway. We will get the Ritual Totems without even trying in this grind. And that's when we're going to really kick our grind off. Because, well, like I said, the other opportunity is do those and then go and work on hers. Which, if we work on hers, we can get this. That'll help us a little bit with the turning ins. It'll help us a little bit with the rep. And then she'll have some beads. So basically we'll do one grind, because we do his and then he'll give us the opportunity to turn feathers in. So we'll grind that a little bit. If we want to do a suicide run and then make our way into Winter Spring, we can then do the quest, because he'll then give us a breadcrumb to talk to this lady out here. Then when you do hers, she'll have us go kill some of those, and then we'll be able to turn in beads for her. So then we can, and the Winterfell Ritual Totem, we can get that for her. And we can turn this in while we're there. Then we could fly back rather than doing a second run. We will be able to bubble run. I think we bubble ran through to... Yeah, we did that to turn in that Maraudon quest. We just haven't unlocked Winterfell yet. Winterfall, whatever. So we could do another bubble run like we did to get there, but we could do it to get to Winter Spring, since we showed that we can do it. Not the worst idea. Let's see where we're at, by the way, on fishing. We've done 7 fish so far. My guess is it's going to probably be somewhere around 10, since we are end game. A lot of spam. I do not think this is a coincidence. I have someone attempted, so I got 2 spam calls, and then someone attempts to sign into my Venmo. Which, the only reason I even have Venmo, it has nothing in it. The only reason why I even have it is because of fantasy football. I typically don't use Venmo. But I think that was like the neutral app that everybody could have, because not everybody uses Apple Pay. Not everybody used Zelle. Not everybody wanted to. I don't know. Venmo, for whatever I don't even remember why Venmo was the thing. Alrighty. We do, by the way, we did get our first point of fishing. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, just like I predicted. Cool. 4 points to go, so that means 40 more, and we've already done 2, so 38 more. This is not giving us anything useful with the fish, that's the downside, but I didn't want to risk fishing in Felwood because I don't know. First of all, there's just this one river to do it in. Well, there's a couple little slime pools. But I don't know that you can fish in them, and I don't know that the fishing would be any better. So I was like, let's just get it done. Also, we get 100% fish rate here, and we're pretty good on fish right now. We have 28 of these grilled squid. We have sunscale salmon. We have hot smoked bass. Got a little bit of nightfin soup. So we're pretty good. I haven't even eaten all my clamlet surprise. So that goes to show you where we're at with all that. So the fact that we're catching fish that is trash is okay. Alrighty. Yeah, so I guess we could do that. But that whole process in itself, that'll take like an episode just setting up the quest, and then we're going to have to get the grind going on. And that grind is... So we're looking at 2 if we're really aggressive, probably 3 episodes to wrap up the regular part of Felwood. So that would still be like a 4 episode, probably 3 episodes. So that's making this a little bit of a short zone, a 4-part zone, shorter than average, but the grind will take us at least 1 episode of solid grind, where we do nothing else but grind. I'll have to have some things planned out for sure. You know, I was thinking about, I had somebody put in the comments like, hey, if you had some background information where you talked about the episodes, where you talked about the zones, and you had some imagery, animation, something to look at in the background, it would be much cooler. And I do think that's a good idea. So what I'd like to do is probably once we finish retail, which again will not be for a while because we're doing, it'll take us probably 3 total weeks to get through Felwood on both. This week, well, we're already halfway through this week, so at the rate that I'm going, because I've slowed down. So it'll be basically through the rest of July. So at that, and then Ajara, probably, let's be more, maybe Ajara is easier, and it only takes us a couple weeks to get through Ajara. So that's still halfway through August. And then that's assuming I don't get slowed down by not being able to go forward. Then Ungoro Crater, I'm guessing, takes us at least a month. So that takes us halfway through September. And I have a feeling we might get slowed down by then. So now let's just take it all the way through September. Then Blasted Land comes out, and that should probably be shorter. So hopefully I can stay on top of that. So that takes us to near the end of October. And let's just say by throwing Sunken Temple in there too, we're going to be probably wrapping October as we enter the final zones in this thing. So as November kicks off, we will be beginning Western Plaguelands, and because that's a bigger zone and there's probably going to be some hiccups, we're looking at most likely that takes us, let's say, all of November. Then, and we're also going to have to pause at some point after December. We're going to be pausing, and we're going to do the events each time as well. So once we hit December, we're going to be doing Blackrock burning steps, and that's when things will really slow down. So by the end of December, we should hopefully by the end of the year we are in and finishing burning steps. And that's going to open up a few things for us. Those dungeons I talked about. So as we get to that, we will then be doing, as we enter January of this upcoming year, we're going to have to pause and do a couple episodes about the Lunar Festival. We will need to run Blackrock Depths and lower Blackrock Spire and Scalamance. And there you go, 278. We got about 20 fish to catch still. So Blackrock Depths is huge. So those three dungeons combined are going to really... Plus, we're going to be probably taking ourselves through January and into February, getting through those dungeons and doing Lunar Festival. I don't know that we ever finished all the Love is in the Air quests. I thought we did, so that one might be good. But there are other holidays we'll have to do as we push through that. So we'll be into February as we get there, and we'll be checking possibly Love is in the Air, but let's say no. Then let's say by March we can hopefully start Eastern Plaguelands, and so then that'll take us probably that's a pretty big zone as well with some grind. So let's say we finish that in March, and we're working on Stratholme. So again, being conservative, assuming I'm going to get swamped at work, then we're like mid-April, and we're getting through Stratholme as well, both live and undead, which that's pretty good. Then Winter Spring could probably get us through April, and then if you tack on us running Dire Maul after that, now we're looking at being into April, into May, somewhere around there. Now, in the meantime, tons of lore. I'll be pushing out a lot of lore as we get through here, and this is me being very, very conservative on what we accomplish, and assuming I'm going to have massive delays that slow us down, where we get stuck doing days and days. I'll still be making videos 6 days a week. That's my goal anyway. When work starts getting heavy and slammed, then I'm more tired. Also, at some point, I'm going to have to shift over. I could shift over and drop out. I'm getting kind of burnt on my project of playing Anniversary anyway, so I could drop out and focus more on this game. That's totally fine. And because otherwise, then we're getting into Silithus and wrapping up Silithus and getting into doing Upper Blackrock Spire and then Molten Core as we get to be about this time. So Molten Core, Onyxia, Blackwind Lair, running Zul'Grub, killing the world dragons, then running Encourage, trying to find a group that'll let us run Encourage with them. We're on the last set, by the way, of fishing. So, if we go at a very slow pace, the way we've been, it's going to take us another year to get through all of the stuff in Classic, which is... I feel like that's pretty conservative, because it's been like a year since we started this. It's actually been a little bit more than a year. We started it about end of March, like beginning of April, but not this most recent one, the one before. So it's taken us a little bit more than a year to get this far. So the idea that it would take us another year to get through the last quarter of the game is conservative, to be sure. Now, and I did different paces too. At some points I would only do hour-long videos. At some points my production dropped. What's gonna slow us right now is that we've caught up. Like, I just finished Felwood last night, so we're caught up on that, and I'm not producing, like, I'm getting fatigue on Classic because I'm doing these videos, then I'm spending an equal amount of time, if not maybe a little longer, with the setup for the videos, pre-doing trial runs and working out all the kinks. So on a day like today, that means I'm going to be spending anywhere from 3 to 5 hours just playing Classic WoW, and I don't play a lot of other side games. Then when I do, I've been doing my anniversary project, so it's just really, it creates a lot of fatigue, especially like I just spent the past few weeks grinding out Felwood quests, and now I'm going to come on here and do these same Felwood quests. So I'm doing the same things like 4 times in a row. When there was space between them, there's not as much fatigue, because it's like, oh, it's been a few months since I did this zone. It's not as big of a deal. But we're so close to the finish line, like, there's no stopping the momentum on this train. Okay, we finished. Like, there's no end in sight. I'm just explaining where this slowdown might come from. And I have other project ideas in mind. There's things we can do on the side. I just don't want to skip the lore. So, that is what it is. We're going to do as good as we'll do as good as we can do. I don't know. We're going to cross each bridge as we get there, and we'll find ways to make it happen. All right, now we're going to get on this flight path. Okay, so what we're going to do is we are going to fly to Astronar this time. And I'll show you how long the walk from there is, and we can kind of gauge, based on today's episode, what was longer, to walk from the northern flight path down or to walk from Astronar up. In this case, it's whatever. We've got ourselves ready to now dig. Anytime there's travel involved and setup for a zone involved, it usually is a little bit more travel and a little less play, but we've now done that, so we should get to have some dense questing over the next 2 episodes, where after that we'll settle into grinding for an episode or 2. I anticipate this running about 4 more episodes just on her, and that is what it is. So, oh man, now they're talking about the libs are cussing at the Trumpers and the Trumpers are cussing at the libs, and that's World of Warcraft Classic. Alright, I gotta make sure to jump into a flight path so I can dive into that cesspool. Thank you everybody so much for watching and listening and tuning in. If you like what I did here, maybe you'll love the Patreon that I do, which is the same service for Assassin's Creed. I just read the Assassin's Creed official guide yesterday, and there was a really cool section at the end of it where it talked about all the conspiracy theories and recapped Assassin's Creed 1. We glossed over what we have to look for in Assassin's Creed 2, and on the next episode for that show, I'm going to drop I'm going to start Assassin's Creed 2. And actually, that's something I could do. If we run out of everything, we've fully caught up all of the content, the canon and non-canon, we get all the way up there. I'm talking about I go through the art books and we're still behind. What I'll start doing is releasing my Assassin's Creed old videos, so you guys can check out some of that stuff too. Because there will never be any... I don't do that one as a pre-run, so there's never any hiccups for that as well. So I guess worst case scenario, we get ourselves into a bind. You'll get to see some of my Assassin's Creed content for free. But if you want to support me, check it out. It's like $2 a month or something like that. Whatever the bare minimum threshold that you can charge on Patreon is. And you have access to all 50 or so videos that I've made in that series. Thank you everyone so much for watching, listening, and tuning in. We got another episode in the pipe 5x5.